Folks, they have not added very many good rare champions to the game, so we are stuck talking about the all-time greats that we have. Today's video is going to be centered around, of course, Coldheart, as you could probably tell from the thumbnail. We're going to be talking about essentially if she's still endgame viable and where endgame players or late game players are using her. That way, if you're a low spend or a free-to-play player, you can choose where you're investing those precious resources. Even though she is just a rare, right? So rare books, you're still going to be putting in either chickens or food into her, as well as XP brews and ascension potions and all that sort of stuff. And if you're a low spend, those resources are very, very hard to come by, so it definitely pays to make sure that you're investing them into a good spot. This is Coldheart here, who on my account is, of course, 6-star Ascended. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the cool skins to showcase for you guys, but it is what it is. Let's go ahead and talk about her kit real quick. First, what does she do? A1 attacks 4 times at random. Each hit has a 35% chance of placing a 100% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns. If you are an observant player, you can probably already guess of a couple areas in the game where that is incredibly useful. A2 is an AoE, has a 35% chance of placing a decreased accuracy, places a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns if the target is under a heal reduction. And of course her A3, the skill that everybody knows her for, attacks 1 enemy, decreases the target's turn meter by 100%, has an extra 30% chance of inflicting a critical hit, and damage increases according to enemy max HP. This is an insane skill, and it's really what puts her into the spotlight as a rare champion, because this is one of the hardest hitting single target max HP nukes in the game, certainly for a rare champion. She is definitely being power crept a little bit by, of course, somebody like a Newt and a Crixia, those sorts of things. But if you didn't go for the nuke fusion, or if you were like me and you just missed it, or if you don't have an Acrizia because you don't swipe your credit card every day, this could be your alternative. How do I have her mastered out? Well, let's go ahead and take a look here. I actually have her built out with flawless execution to get some additional crit damage on her. If you were rebuilding her today, I would actually probably recommend War Master instead. And of course, I don't even have her fully mastered, so I would recommend coming down the support tree here a little bit further to get most likely Master Hexer if you're really needing that heal reduction. For the gear, I actually have her built out inside Reflex as well as Perception. This is going to be the role here on the attack perception piece. This is the helmet. Very decent HP, accuracy, resistance here. We got crit damage gauntlets, of course, and the cool thing about her as well is you only need to build 70% crit rate, so building her out with survivability is a little bit more important, I would say, because keep in mind the predominant source of damage inside her kit is going to be from her A3, which is an enemy max HP hit. She doesn't have very great multipliers. In fact, I'll go ahead and throw the multipliers here on the screen now. Her multipliers are not that good for the rest of her kit, so you're essentially just trying to keep her alive so that she can cycle around to her A3. And of course, the reflex set really helps to facilitate that as well. We have accuracy, attack, and speed here on the banner. We have some crit damage as well as triple attack and a little bit of accuracy on the amulet. And then, of course, we have a refresh on the ring as well. Refresh accessories are absolutely insane on this champion. If you have the chance to put refresh on her, I highly recommend it. If you're not familiar, refresh essentially just has the 5% chance to prevent a skill cooldown. So if you're using her somewhere like Fire Knight and you're just getting this procced again and again and again, it is very useful. So where are you actually going to use Coldheart? That is a great question. There's a lot of areas in the game that you can actually get a significant use case out of her. Of course, the first mention would be inside the Dark Elves faction wars. If that's something you're struggling with, having a 100% turn meter depletion on an A3, as well as AoE decrease accuracy and some heal reduction on the A1 is incredibly useful for that particular area of the game. There's a lot of Doom Tower bosses that you can go ahead and fight with her as well. Basically, any sort of a boss can be beaten up pretty effectively by a Coldheart because she's doing her max HP nukes. So something like the Frost Spider in this particular rotation, she's very good for the Scarab as well because of the kit she brings. Magma, she's fantastic because of that heal reduction if you're bringing somebody in who can do burns or whatnot. For some reason, you know, if that's your strategy. And I think probably where she's the MVP, in all honesty for me at least, would be Dark Fae, actually. I made an entire dedicated Dark Fae video that has a Coldheart in it, and I also recommended that if you're struggling, you could run multiple Coldhearts, essentially. She's not really going to get any sort of use in either of the clan bosses at this point. She doesn't hit quite hard enough and have enough survivability to really be useful inside Hydra. And of course, she's not really a specialist for something like Demon Lord either, so unfortunately, she's not going to get a whole lot of use there. One super end game area she is actually getting use is going to be the Phantom Shogun's Grove. So people are actually coming in here and fairly proficiently farming with her as well. I don't know if they'll show up in any of the teams of the week. She actually does, so she's making her way into teams of the week there, which is pretty fantastic. Inside some Killstroke accessories. And she's one of the only rare champions that actually make it onto this Teams of the Week. And when you're running 4 Newts and a Rotos as the other Teams of the Week, that says a lot about this particular champion, that she's even in that same discussion, right? So you can definitely get some speed farming done with her there. Now, she is probably not the most important champion in this particular composition, but she is present, and that's what matters. She is also incredibly useful somewhere like the Fire Knight, of course, right? She has a quad hitting A1, she has heal reduction, she has the turn meter reduction, especially for Fire Knight normal, right? She did definitely get power crept a little bit with Fire Knight hard, so she's not quite as useful there, I wouldn't say, but she definitely can help you out with taking down that shield and placing the heal reduction, which is just going to make it way better because the Fire Knight isn't just constantly healing himself and surviving longer. She's also very useful inside Cintranos for a couple of different reasons. So first of all, of course, with City of Cintranos, you have all of the waves that you have to beat, and Coldheart does actually make it into some of these waves quite frequently. And then additionally, of course, there are some rotations where she actually appears to show up inside the parameters here for Amius as well. So obviously having a triple hit with a chance of a heal reduction as well as max HP nukes is going to be absolutely fantastic for attempting to take down this boss. So she's very, very good here as well if you have her. Of course, another spot that is worth mentioning is inside secret rooms. Obviously, she's not really in this secret room, I don't think, but this one, oh, she is actually. So Void Champions only. Yeah, that makes sense. Secret rooms, she is an absolute beast as well. There's a lot of secret rooms both inside the normal as well as a couple, I think, in the Harb Doom Tower as well, where it's Void Champions only, Void Rares only, whatever it might be. You know, rare champions only, that she can really be useful. She's bringing a bit of damage, turn meter control, anti-healing properties. She is a fantastic champion. She's not really useful inside the arena, of course. That's not really her area of specialty. And of course, she's also not really a campaign farmer. All of this goes to say that Coldheart is an absolutely fantastic rare champion that even still in 2024 still gets use cases by pretty much everybody in the game, even in the late game or in the end game as well, right? You see her popping up everywhere. You see her popping up in some of the suggested teams. I highly recommend that you go ahead and build her out. She is, of course, a rare champion as well, which means it is significantly easier to get the 6-star awakening bonuses for her as opposed to some sort of even an epic or, God forbid, a legendary or a mythical if you're trying to get the awakenings for them. Good luck. I'm a low spender in the game, and the highest awakening I have for a mythical so far is a 2-star Lady Mikage. That being said, though, thank you guys all so much for the support. I hope you guys build out your Coldhearts. Let me know how you build her and where you use her, and I'll see you in the next video.